Hello, my garden friends. It's Jersey Shore Lisa from MyNJGarden.com. I'm picking blueberries here because I'm getting ready to share another recipe from the garden with you, blueberry banana muffins. The recipe is in the description so you can make it yourself. Please subscribe to the channel and stay with me for all my garden updates. Like the video, and let's get started cooking in the kitchen. I've heard today is National Blueberry Day, and behind me you can see my netted blueberries in the garden. I've lifted the net and I've harvested some blueberries. In a previous video where I was cooking, I let you know I make a lot of muffins, and this is one of those recipes. So for this recipe, I only need a cup of blueberries. We've got that, so let's get going into the kitchen. Hi everyone, here we are in my kitchen and we're going to make banana blueberry muffins. They're really easy. Muffins in general are really easy, and it's a nice way to use the harvest from the garden. So here are the blueberries that we picked. Make sure to wash them thoroughly. Sometimes when you're picking blueberries, there are little stems on the end. Try and get all those off and wash them in a sieve or a colander and make sure they're very clean. And then let's get started. So here's what we need. We're using 3 large ripe bananas. And the reason I chose to make banana blueberry muffins is that we had some bananas that were kind of turning brown on the counter after a few days. We eat a lot of bananas, but these were a little older. So I decided to make use of them. Don't forget to compost your banana peels because they're great for your plants. So throw them in your compost pile or in your tumbler, and they will add great nutrition for those microbes in your compost. So we've smashed those up with a fork in one bowl. Now when you make muffins, I like to keep the dry ingredients separate from the wet ingredients and then just combine them at the end and mix them together until they're just combined and you don't see any more of that white fluffy dry ingredients left. That's it. You don't over mix. That's the big secret to muffins. But let's start by putting together the wet ingredients. So here we have the mashed bananas, which I mashed ahead of time. Even though sugar is a dry ingredient, you generally put the sugar in with the wet ingredients. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's to dissolve the sugar because sugar will dissolve in cold or hot things. So we need 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. And then we need 1 egg slightly beaten. So I cracked an egg into here. You can also put the eggshells in your compost, just so you know. Slightly beaten. We'll add that in. And then we add the butter and the blueberries. But I'm going to mix this together a little bit so that that's combined. So the butter, we need 1/3 of a cup of melted butter, which is 5 1/3 tablespoons, and the tablespoons are marked on the side of the butter. So I'm just going to cut that there and then section this butter into smaller pieces so there's more surface area before I put it in the microwave to melt it. There we go, in a little bowl, and we're going to pop that in the microwave for 30 seconds. While that's happening, we will add the blueberries. So this is a 1/2 cup measure. It's supposed to be a cup of blueberries in these muffins. Ooh, there's a little stem. Gotta get that out of there. There we go. And we'll get started on putting together the dry ingredients. We need 1 1/2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. That's a little too much. And then a teaspoon of baking soda. Oh, baking soda. There we go. Usually when I make recipes that call for banana in there, there's baking soda involved too, baked goods. I'm not sure why. It's not always in muffins, but whenever there's banana involved, there's baking soda. A teaspoon of baking powder. And this will help them be nice. It'll help them rise and get nice and fluffy. And then a half a teaspoon of salt. And whenever I have the opportunity, I like to use Himalayan salt because it's filled with good trace minerals. And that's it for the dry ingredients. So I don't want to forget to add the butter in with the wet. And I'm just going to give that a good stir because some of it is still a little chunky and soft, but as long as it's well distributed throughout the wet ingredients, I think we'll be okay. Now before I combine them, I do want to mix together the dry ingredients too. Let's do that for real with a whisk so that it's well combined. I probably wouldn't use a whisk if I wasn't on camera right now. Okay, but before I combine the two, because I really want to bake it right away, as soon as they're combined and the batter's ready to go, I'm going to prepare my pan. So this is my muffin pan, and rather than greasing every little part of the muffin pan, I want to do this quickly. And it's much easier. Not only is it easy to prepare the pan by using muffin papers or cupcake papers, but it makes cleanup so much easier too. So we're just putting one paper in each hole. A dozen muffins happen in the one pan, and this recipe is for a dozen muffins. There, we're all set. And I like to use an ice cream scoop because that is a great measurement for the muffins. You end up basically using 1 scoop per muffin. Okay, so now we're ready to go. I'm gonna add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. Ooh. And I'm just gonna stir it with a spatula so I can make sure that I get it all really well combined. That's looking close, it's looking close. It's coming together. You'll start to feel it, how it's not so separate anymore. And that's it. I think that looks perfect. So now I'm just gonna scrape all that goodness back into the bowl and use my ice cream scoop to fill my muffin tin. And it's a summer day. It's Friday, and my kids are still in bed. So I think that as these cupcakes are, well, muffins are baking. Oh, I see a little bit of the dry in the bottom there. I always do that. Do a little zhuzh to get everything combined. The kids are gonna smell these muffins baking, and hopefully they'll come out for breakfast. Out of their rooms. Teenagers. Okay. Oh, I have a little extra batter, so I'll divvy that up between the muffins. Oh, these are going to be so tasty. Okay, that's pretty good, pretty even. So I give them a little shake and into the oven they go. Now it says bake at 375. I've already preheated the oven, so I know it's up to temp for 20 minutes. I'm gonna say I'm gonna leave it in because I know my oven. I'm probably gonna leave it in for about 25 minutes. But I'm gonna take a peek at 20 to make sure. And we'll see you back when the muffins are done. Oh, wow. Take a look at these. Don't they look awesome? Blueberry banana muffins. I think they are definitely done at this point, but let's just check them with a toothpick to make sure. Oh, I got 2 toothpicks. They're perfect. Okay. We're going to let them cool, and then we'll take them out and open them up and see what they look like. Okay, everybody. They're cool now. They're out of the oven, and I'm ready to try these. So I'm going to pick one and take off the papers. And I can see the blueberries all along the edges of the muffin. Let's open that up. Look at that, jam-packed with fruit. 3 whole bananas and a full cup of blueberries in here. That's just fantastic. And they came out perfect. I love them. They're just a little bit crispy on the top, but really moist and delicious inside. It's a great recipe. Give it a try. Let me know if you do in the comments. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and stay with me for all my garden updates. And I'll see you again soon in the garden. Bye, everyone.